It's really good. First of all, he's constantly in motion. We see that waggle that he does when the club goes down, all of a sudden he's moving right into that motion. I love that. He's not moving from just a still, stagnant position. So many times when you're standing over your shot, you get a little bit frozen and you don't know how to move. This is one of the things to do, create this waggle. And what you're going to see is, in this waggle, what he's doing in his swing, you're going to see that right knee kick in, and you're going to see the hips kind of move. You see that motion that he's got right there? When that hip is going, the knee is going, the body is moving back. So I love seeing that motion. Then he takes the club up to the top with a good full turn. In fact, what he's doing is that he's got the hips kind of starting that swing, and then the hips are rotating back really nicely, and it's kind of dragging the club. And what you're going to see is when he goes right in here, it's almost Hogan-esque. Because what happens is that you can see that golf club is almost in a perpendicular relationship to the ground. He's not setting it early. He's letting his body steer this club back and dragging the head of the golf club. And then as he starts to go up to the top, what you're going to see is a good full turn. The arms are in front of him, so right here at the top of the swing, his arms are in front of him. They're not behind him. Full turn with the shoulders. You can see the shoulders have made a full turn right there. Hips have some turn. He hasn't created the knee behind it, but very good spotted. Now as he starts down, body starts to rotate the club down into a really good impact position. You can see right there, the hands are leading the club head. The body is over that left side. He's not falling back out of that shot. And then as he continues through, he goes into a very full finished position. So it's a really, really good. You can see that hard follow-through that he has right there, and then over to his left side. Look at that balanced position that he's in right there over the left side. Excellent spot. So we're going to throw a little power of three at you here. We're going to highlight three things that Jason does. And as I said to you before, he's always got that movement going. So he's got this waggle that we remember that we talked about a couple weeks ago. We have this waggle, but what he's doing as he's waggling is everything's moving, and then when he grounds that club, now all of a sudden things start, and he starts with a trigger. And his trigger is his trail knee kind of jumps in, and his hips open, and he kind of goes like this, and then goes back in his swing. Now, what I recommend is having a trigger. You have to have some sort of a trigger. Some people will take a trigger, and they'll move their hands forward. Jack Nicklaus's trigger was to tilt his head, and he kind of tilted it back like this. Of course, we've seen that knee position before with Gary Player. Gary Player would go in like this and then go like that. Not uncommon to have a motion that's going in an opposite direction of where you're moving the club. And what I recommend is having a trigger. It's so important for you to have something that's going to get things going. We've seen some people struggle with getting things going. Kevin Na is the example that we point out because of what happened with him at the Players. It's just hard to get going. And so if you have a trigger that's going to help get this club moving, well, moving that back knee or moving the hips or moving the hands forward, that's going to be a very important thing for you to do. So having that trigger is incredibly important, and I recommend that you make sure that you get something to get things started. Now, the second power of three that Jason does, which I love, is that I said this about having this Hogan-esque move. So many of you at home are taking the club and you're picking the club up into the air. And what happens is when you lift that club up in the air like that, you eliminate the amount of motion that your body is making, and you create an arc that looks more like a V. So the head of the golf club isn't moving around in a circle or a half circle. It starts to move up into the air. When it starts to move up into the air, you take out the width of the swing, which is a distance opportunity for you. You lose that. And what ends up happening is you start driving all this energy of the club head back into the ground, and now you have to do something superhuman to get this club out of there.